Welcome to 4.10, the enabler. I'm approaching this one a little differently because the reality is that 2/3 of people are capable of exhibiting this behavioral profile under the right conditions. I mean, half of the US has already done so. And I know that may be triggering to hear for some people, but this is not about labeling people sociopaths. It's about calling out behaviors that enable harm. If what I say feels triggering, pay attention because that reaction is probably your subconscious asking you to examine something that you've been avoiding. When people blindly follow someone who displays harmful or manipulative behavior, especially when that person is in power, they become part of the system that upholds that harm. This is how sociopaths maintain power. They need enablers, flying monkeys, who validate their control by protecting it. As a reminder, this type is motivated by fear and avoidance of being targeted with the intent to stay safe from someone else who is in authority. Many who fall into this pattern grew up in environments where keeping the peace was survival, were punished for speaking out, or taught to prioritize appearances over truth. That conditioning trains you to please authority. In 1961, a Yale psychologist named Stanley Milgram designed an experiment to answer a haunting question that emerged after World War II. How did ordinary German citizens participate in the Holocaust? According to some soldiers, they had said that they felt they had no other choice. But Milgram wasn't convinced until he discovered that 65% of participants in his experiment were willing to administer what they believed were potentially fatal shocks when prompted by an authority figure. Follow-up and replicated studies across different countries, decades, demographics consistently show the same levels of obedience. The experiment continues to be one of the most cited examples of how ordinary people can become instruments of harm through systemic coercion and moral disengagement. The enabler doesn't need malicious intent, they just need fear. Fear of losing status, of being casted out, of being next. And when that fear is combined with a charismatic and authoritative figure who offers them protection in exchange for loyalty, that pattern gets locked in. Now, astrologically, this is the shadow side of Libra. Libra seeks harmony and balance, but in its distortion, it becomes conflict avoidant to the point of moral collapse. You can check your natal chart to see where Libra sits for you, and that may be what's driving the need to conform. In human design, this often shows up as an undefined or open centers, particularly the will center or ego. Now, you can break out of this pattern, but first you have to recognize it. The shift starts with reclaiming your inner authority. That means learning to trust your own moral compass over external validation. If you decide to seek therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy to identify and challenge automatic thoughts could help. Acceptance and commitment therapy builds psychological flexibility, and EMDR can be particularly powerful for processing the childhood experiences that taught you compliance was survival. This isn't about becoming confrontational or reckless. It's about integrity. It's about being able to look at yourself in the mirror and know that you didn't participate in harm just because it was easier than standing against it. So follow and stay tuned as I break down the innocent coming up next.